Hello everybody. Well, our multi-day freezing spell is over. Now the rule of thumb down here in Georgia, and it probably applies to most places, you've got to have 3 consecutive days of below freezing to kill ground bugs, fleas, etc. So if you don't get that, you're going to have an overabundance of them. What have I got? Sometimes I have to keep my hat on so I don't have to worry about combing my hair. Sometimes to get little spiders come down and land, and then shh. They don't hurt, not those kind. They're just annoying. Okay. Where was I? Oh yes, you have to have 3 days of below freezing to get rid of the surface bugs. And so we like that. But now that we're done with it, can we go back to a normal? We should be, 30s to 40s for low on an average. To be down to 9 and 10 degrees, one of our rangers was checking out the restrooms, make sure they're clean. They follow up to make sure that the people doing the work are doing the work. 99 times out of 100, they're doing the work. I am leaving from here, going to my #1 nemesis campsite. I'm not going to mention the name, but it's one particular campsite that's very close to where my son is and where my storage unit is. So I go there whenever I got to rearrange stuff. They're the only campsite in Georgia I've ever written up, and multiple times. So, okay, pray for me for that. I won't need my satellite because the cell signal is so strong. I won't need that. We're supposed to get rain, 3 to 4 days of really big rain coming in. It's leaving Texas and into Louisiana, I think, now. I don't know if it's got into Mississippi yet, so we're still looking at Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Now, I think Thursday is the worst day, which is good, because if on Friday it's intermittent, I'll have most of my stuff packed by the time Friday gets here, so that I'll only have to pack my chair, my bed, and my tent. And depending on how the weather looks, I may put my cooler up early, or pick a dry spot sometime to put the cooler up. If I wait until I'm going to move and it's still raining, I don't want to carry that in the rain. My next campsite is going to be the one right next to me. All right, let's see if we can see this. Okay, so you can see that's the neighbors. Okay, this campsite's behind me, so I got to go this way. Okay, that campsite right there. And somewhere up there is my car. I don't know, I don't see it. There's my tent here. All right, it's hard to see sometimes looking backwards, but the road's right up there, and that campsite is a closer walk to the road. My knee is really beginning to be a problem. I haven't been hiking in 2 months because of my knee. I have an appointment on the 31st to go see the VA doctor. I'm moving my clinic to 30 minutes from here as opposed to 2 hours from here. And the hospital is like 2.5, 3 hours from here. It's on the other side of Atlanta. But anyhow, enough of that. But basically, this is about being physically fit to do the things that we need to do. And I'm not able to do it. Now, if this clinic treats me the way as my old clinic, then I'm going to have to just wait until I can't walk. I'll walk into emergency and make them do it right. The VA, if you can get past the people at the front door at the gates, there's like 3 levels of gates to get through. If you get through those, the doctors here in the Atlanta area are great. They're on loan from Emory Hospital, but you got to get to them. And these other people, their job is to make sure you can't get to them. There goes my ranger again. What's he coming back for? I don't know. Maybe he looked in there and saw they needed something. and went to go get it. They're looking out for us. Go to state parks. They're great. It doesn't matter what state you're in. I mean, I have one bad state park out of the 30 that we have. I don't know what the number is. It's quite a few. But there's the advantage of it. They try to deny me my senior citizen discount because they don't want to give up any money. Their money is so precious to them. Not us people that come out and use their facilities, but their money. Sounds kind of worldly, doesn't it? Okay, so you got to be in good shape. I can't walk, but I don't sit around and do nothing. There's a thing on YouTube now where you can work out with a chair. That's been around forever. If you're old enough, you remember Jack LaLanne. He did this. I mean, he was slim, physically fit, and he'd do these calisthenics for the housewives. So go grab your kitchen chair with the hard back, and he'd take his leg and he'd throw it out back away, and he'd throw it out the other way. He'd get some things, small little weights, and just move them around. Believe me, if you can do any kind of exercise at all, you will feel better. Because your body is inherently lazy. It's conserving energy. If you don't give it fat to burn, it will just store it. Now, I'm not talking about doing some of this to lose weight. I'm also going to give you a disclaimer. Don't do any activity unless you believe your doctor would approve of it. If you don't know, go find out. I'm telling you what I do. Okay? So I can work out. I've got a bench out here. I can put my hands on it, and I can do push-ups on it if I can't do a full push-up on the ground. I don't like doing them on the ground, on the dirt. So I can just lean into the bench and just raise and lower my body into the bench. You can also sit on the edge and lower yourself down. This isn't a physical exercise video, so I'm not going all into detail. I'm just telling you the things that you can do. I have a couple of 25-pound weights that I usually set out here on the bench, and I'll come out here and I'll do curls. I'll do 50 curls every other day. I used to hike all over the place. I've hiked on every trail in this park. I hiked 15 miles in one day before my knee started going out on me. So we're going to look at that, but I'm not going to be able to do anything. If they were to operate tomorrow, I'd have to stay off of it for 3 months. Walk lightly, but no hiking, obviously, for 3 months. So from the minute they decide to work on it, I'm 3 months out. Is it worth it with the rapture coming? I don't know. If we're going to point all the, you look at a map and you triangulate, and you got all the lines coming through, and where they meet in the center, that's where you got to go. It seems to be lining up on this year. This September to be 7 years from the Revelation 12 sign. 7 is a number of completion. We're finished. We're done. God rested on the seventh day because he was done. And what he created, he thought was good. At some point in time, I think I will try to do, I've had some people ask me about it, a study in Genesis 1 and 2. It's evident from the words used and the type of descriptions and how it was laid out that 1 is just a title page, summary. God did this, 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 this. Chapter 2, he goes more into detail. So it's like 1 was out there for a long time, or 2 was out there for a long time, and they did a 1 as a summary. And there's a little bit of minor discrepancies. Yes, minor discrepancies. There are minor discrepancies throughout the Bible, but they're very minor. And the scholars all know where they're at. Nobody's bugged about it. We know that some things were modified for a purpose, like they went through and took out some verses at one point in time, because it was, in their opinion, someone had duplicated a verse. Well, it's cleanup, but you still shouldn't do it. You should maybe put it in a bracket and say, this is duplicate in the notes down below. That's the way you're supposed to do it. I know, I'm off on a rabbit trail again. The Jews were so adamant about not touching the original scripture that when the original scriptures were written, the Old Testament, there were no vowels. Well, they're not going to come back and open up the consonants and stick vowels in, because then they're changing the text. They want the text to be identical every year when they just, recreate it. A scribe, by definition, would put the source down here, the new copy here, and basically copy it all the way down exactly as it was. So that way, and somebody would proof it to make sure they got it right. If you mess it up, throw it away, do it again. Not one of those things you want to mess up. So they got good at it. But they put the vowels in above and below the consonants so they didn't have to change the original text. All right. So I plan on getting my knee operated on at some point. But to let you know how I think about being in shape, I used to do CrossFit. Flip the big tires out in the backyard, burpees, all kinds of stuff. Have the rings come down to the ground and do a push-up on the rings. All these things we used to do to stay in shape. And my wife did the same thing. And when she had to go in for her chemo, for her breast cancer, she continued, only missed one day of exercise. So if you get yourself in shape, you can deal with trauma better. Before I had my right knee operated on, I had the inner joint replaced. The meniscus was gone. I ran, 2 weeks before, I ran a 5K. Now my time was atrocious, but I got through it. I had to walk backwards uphill because I couldn't run uphill because my knee was trying to bend backwards as I would run up the hill. So I turned and I continued running backwards. Obviously, I'm not running very fast, but I got up that last little hill towards the finish line, and then it leveled out, and I was able to run straight coming through. That's the last time I've run a long race, and 5K is not that far. It's a little over 3 miles. Between 17 and 20 minutes is a good time to do that. There were guys coming in at 13 minutes or whatever the thing was. There'd be special people watching for the ones they know were going to come in early, and they'd direct them over to the path, make everybody stay out so nobody could cheat and come in. Okay. So it helped my recovery immensely. I only had 3 days of really bad pain from my knee surgery, and they fillet it open. I got metal in me now, so from that. Okay. The world is approaching the most terrible time it has ever seen since mankind has been on the earth. What are they doing? I don't know. That's coming. How much of it, if any of it, we're going to see, I don't know. How much of the run-up to it are we going to see? It's already bad. I carried 4 yellow grocery bags out of the store, a Dollar General store, $80 this last week. I'm getting ready to start packing for Friday. Since we're supposed to get 2 or 3 days of rain ahead of time, I'm going to have most of my stuff packed. I just went and got 2 foot-long Subway sandwiches. Those are going to go in my cooler, and I'm not going to prepare any major meals. So I'm getting ready for that. But you got to eat healthy, which I try to do, and you got to do some form of exercise. Okay. So you got to be prepared, your mind, soul, and body. Typo, mine, M-I-N-E, not mind. Okay. And just for the idea that, for young parents, this is part of this training bit. This is a little bit, again, off track, but keep this in mind. Proverbs 2:26. Train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. If you teach your children about Christ, God knows the school's not going to do it. You have to do it. They will remember it at some point. I think one of the reasons that we grow old is that we can stop being arrogant and dependent upon ourselves. Dependent upon ourselves. My throat is just breathing all this dry air. Okay. They may wander off. The prodigal son wandered off, but he came back. And that's the basic story of children. They will wander off, and then they will come back. What's this old saying that when my kids turned into teenagers, I was the dumbest parent on the face of the earth? And over the next 5 to 10 years, I got real smart. Okay. Also, Proverbs 29:15. The rod and the rebuke give wisdom. There is a purpose behind reasonable punishment. But a child left to himself brings shame to his mother. See, that's what a lot of things is happening. The devil is very clever about what he's doing. None of this is happening by accident. Back when Clinton was president, he made a statement. It was a true statement, but it was misleading. He said, more people are working now than ever before in the history of this country. And that was a true statement. But what he didn't do is explain why. More people were working because they had to. When I was growing up, one parent, one income could raise an entire family. Now, if you don't have two-parent income, you won't be able to do stuff with your family. Not the things that are required. If your kid wants to be involved in sports, that costs money. Wants to be in band, that costs money. Whatever it is, they took away wood shop and things that are helpful, auto mechanics and things like that, and how to learn how to drive. They've taken that away because that's helpful. I've got another armadillo behind me. I can hear it. This is one of their favorite spots. And they're still over there where I'm going to go to. It's closer. It's a little bit further to get to the road to put my antenna out. But I think I got enough cable to do it because I always tie some up inside. But that's why I'm on this side, because the road's right straight that way, about 50 feet. I guess that's about 30 yards. Close enough. All right. Now, for you to get prepared, it's going to get tough. So you got to toughen up. When you go in the military, they send you to boot camp to toughen you up and to get you to follow orders. You do your calisthenics that you should have been doing all along. A lot of them come in very well fit because they're capable, because they may be in sports or whatever in school. But they make you work out and they make you learn to take orders. God doesn't really do that because he's not a drill instructor. Drop and give me 50. No, he doesn't do that. The Spirit might convict you to do that, but God won't force it. That's coming down for the wrath of God. So 1 Timothy 4:8, for bodily exercise profits a little, but godliness is profitable for all things. But it's still a little. He doesn't say it's not profitable at all. But compared to spiritual exercise, it can't compete. But if you control your body is where we sin so much. We either overeat, we're involved in too much sex, we're involved in too much drug use, or whatever the world's doing right now. That's a bodily thing. If you can control that, you'll be better at controlling the spiritual side, the temptation of the body. Having promise of the life that now is and of what which is to come. So we've got promises to cover us but you got to take advantage of them. Oh, where is he? There he is. He's just right at the edge of the platform area next to me. Okay, 2 Timothy. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. He's speaking to Greeks using something they would understand. The Greeks were very physically minded. They started the Olympics. But to show you how physically minded they were, of course, these were all men, patriarchal societies all throughout early history. It's only been recently that women have had equal roles. Equal, not to replace men, period. Equal. Women are not better than men, and men are not better than women. In an overall picture, each sex has its own capabilities. If I want a fireman to come and get me, 9 times out of 10, I'd like to have a man come and get me, because they can pick up my weight and carry it. Whereas if I put a 90-pound woman out there, I wouldn't be able to do it. Now you say, well, she's got to be able to do the rigmarole. No, they don't do it that way. They lighten the rigmarole, the requirements, so that they can be in there, so they can get their quotas. If you're supposed to carry 200 pounds, 100 yards, they might only have to carry 50 pounds, 50 yards. I don't know what the current rules are, but I've seen them changed for many years. They may have put them back, I don't know. There are big women, but they're rare. As we're seeing in men get into women's sports, men typically are stronger because they have testosterone, which builds muscle. Women don't have that. They have estrogen. Totally different purpose in life for the bodies. Okay. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 9:27. I discipline my body like an athlete, training it to do what it should. Otherwise, I fear that after preaching to others, I myself might be disqualified. Basically, by keeping the body in tone. Oh, he's getting pretty close back there. I don't know if you can see him. I did this once before, and I can't see because I don't have my glasses on. Where is he? I don't know. You've seen armadillos. But I mean, this is what I like about this particular campsite. I see wildlife every day here. I go to any campsite and I pretty much see squirrels. They're everywhere. Oh, he's right there, about 15 feet away. But here I've got armadillo, we've got coyotes, foxes, raccoons, beavers, and deer. I see a deer every day if I get out. Now, it's been so cold lately, I haven't been getting out, but normally I see a deer every day. Okay, continuing on. So, exercising like an athlete so that you're tough. Mentally, you have to be mentally tough to make your body exercise. Because your body goes, I don't want to exercise. Give me a box of chocolates and a bowl of ice cream and I'm just going to sit here in my easy chair. Well, that's you can do if you've just finished running 5 miles. But I wouldn't touch that if you don't get up and do any exercise. Because when I was younger, my body metabolism was such that I had a 30-inch waist when I was in the military. And for probably 10 to 20 years after that, when I turned 40, metabolism started dying off. And I had to force myself. All the way through mid-50s, I was forcing myself. I did Taekwondo, I'm a black belt. I did a bunch of other things to stay fit, CrossFit. I had gym memberships. It seems lately I'm coasting because the body's starting to fail. So I feel it. I really wish I was feeling stronger. I'm beginning to feel weaker. That's why old people seem frail, because their body stops rejuvenating. Okay, Ecclesiastes 9:10. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. I don't care if you're a janitor, a plumber, an electrician, an astronaut, or a runner, an athlete. Do it with all your might. It will pay off, because if you're working for somebody, your boss will love it. And it will come around, raise time. Where is he? God, he's only 10 feet away. There he is. Okay. If I don't make too much noise, he won't go away. Okay. My work got canceled. I'm recording this on, is this Monday? I think it is, yeah. I was supposed to work today, and it got canceled. I don't know why. So, and my work at the end of the month got canceled because our producer and director of this Star Trek stuff that I do, I mean, he's 5 feet from me right there. Okay, you need to see that I'm here. He's just walking right here. He came walked by me just, 2 feet away. I guess they're used to people here. Now, the only thing to worry about armadillos is they can carry some diseases. But they don't attack. They don't have teeth to attack with. They're eating grubs. They can't be that ferocious. Okay. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. For in the realm of the dead, where you are going, all of us, there is neither working, nor planning, nor knowledge, nor wisdom. Now, that's the ultimate death of the body and not going to heaven. This is Ecclesiastes. He's kind of downing life in general. If we go to heaven, there's going to be things to do. I don't know what it is. People say, I don't want to go sit on a cloud and play the harp for the rest of eternity. I don't either. And I don't think God would either. He gave Adam and Eve a garden to take care of and the animals of the earth to take care of. They were given something to do. So we're going to have something to do in heaven that's not going to be boring. That's the closest I've had one walk to me. Normally they run. I think I put a picture up of them, video not too long ago, of one running away from me. This one's a young one. He's small. If he doesn't learn to stay away from people, he may not get much older. Okay. You do want to exercise. You want to find it some way that you can get out and exercise. Even if it's just walk to your mailbox and come back. And after you got your mail, do it again. If you get winded doing that, again, there's physical problems you can't get around if you've got something medically wrong. Don't do this stuff unless your doctor tells you can do it. But if you're good and healthy and you're just plain sitting around, you've been out of work for a long time, you've gotten lazy, the body is inherently lazy, get up and just start doing stuff. Walk to the end of the block and back. Do whatever you can, anything. But the plan is to increase whatever you're doing. If it's not very much, plan on increasing it. If you walk to the end of the block and back and you're tired for the day, good, do it. And then in a couple of days, take a day or two off, do it again, but then I'll do it twice. You got to push your body because your body doesn't want to do it. If you're going to hire somebody for a job, it doesn't matter what the job is. If they're an ex-athlete, hire them because they're self-motivated. Okay, a couple more verses here and then I'll wrap this up. How are we doing on time? Well, I'm at my limit, so I'll just read through these fast. Hebrews 12:1. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders us, the sin that so easily entangles us, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out before us. abandon sin and do some physical activity and some mental activity. You read the Word every day. That's mental activity. Some people play crosswords and video games and stuff for mental activity. Elon Musk, one of these brilliant guys that's out there, and we don't know about a lot of these guys. He could be one of the Antichrists, along with on the other billionaires that are out there. There's 7 of them, and whoever the Antichrist is here on earth now is alive. When he dies, he's going to come back as the Antichrist. And any one of these guys could be it. We're not going to be able to figure it out ahead of time. We're not supposed to, because it doesn't tell us. Okay. Throw off everything that hinders you and the sin that so easily entangles. You can mess things up with sin. So stay away from it. And let us run with perseverance the race marked before us. I got 2 more verses, 2 more readings. Isaiah 40:31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on the wings like eagles. A very majestic bird for a reason. They will run and not grow weary. There's an endorphin that's released when you're exercising, and it feels good. And dopamine, what's the other one? Something like that. It's called a runner's high. You feel really good after a while. Now, obviously, if you can't run a mile and you try to run 2, you're going to feel other things than good. But once you get to the point where it's a routine, you get to feel good partially through the race, and that carries you to the end. They will run and not grow weary, and they will walk and not be faint. And the last one here, this is 3 verses out of 1 Corinthians 9:24. Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? That's the way it is. Now with this woke generation out there, everybody gets a prize. You showed up, you get a prize. If you won the race, it's no different than if you lost the race. Nobody can be upset. That's not push anybody. Baloney. All right. Run in such a way as to get the prize. Everyone who competes in the game goes into strict training. We're competing now for the remaining moments before the rapture. They do not get a crown that will not last. Those trophies that they hand out, crowns if they have them, whatever they are, they're earthly. They're going to fade. They're going to go away. All you're going to do is stick it on a shelf someplace and have it collect dust. But we do get a crown that will last forever. Everyone who gets to heaven gets 1 crown for making it. But if you want the other ones, there's a number of them. Therefore, I do not run like someone running aimlessly. Look at the butterflies. My younger son, we tried to get him to play pee-wee baseball. And then we had to assign an adult to him to keep an eye on him. Because they'd hit a ball out there. 1 out of 10 kids might hit a ball out in the field. They put him out in the field. We didn't want him to get hit with the ball because he's looking at flowers and he's watching the butterflies and he's not paying attention. So don't do this stuff aimlessly. I do not fight like a boxer beating the air. If you don't make contact, it doesn't do any good. No, I strike a blow to my body and make it my slave, so that after I have preached to others, I myself will not be disqualified for the prize. You got to keep yourself tough. Gonna pump you up. I'm not very good at a Schwarzenegger accent, but the meaning's there. He would work out for 2 to 3 hours a day before a competition, and then they put themselves on really strict diets. All right. I'm over my time limit. I apologize. Thank you for those of you that have been contributing to my fundraiser. It's still open until the 10th. We're not quite halfway yet. I don't want to have to do this again, people, because I don't like doing this. I don't like asking for money. I don't have a prosperity church here. You see, Joel, what's his name, cried on stage because they just paid off their mortgage for this multi-million-dollar home that he lives in. These are people giving a lot of money. You can't buy your way to heaven. You can't work your way either. Accept Christ and you'll get there. All right, until we meet in the clouds. I'm shooting for this fall, but remember, we don't have a date. And I'm shooting for this fall only just because things seem to be connecting. But I don't have any solid proof. We look around and see how bad things are getting. This year, these are the things that are online. I'm just going to do a quick little recap. Our dollar is worthless. It's being artificially held up right now. When they pull the plug, I don't care how much money you got in the bank, you got zero. If they don't come up with digital money and start handing it out to people, the whole country, the whole world would starve to death. They don't want that. They want 80% gone, but not 100%. So they're going to come up with ways to help. Our housing in this country has been overly inflated, 2 to 3 times what it's worth. That's going to crash this year. We have an election this year. The people that are in charge will do anything. They will murder anybody if they get in the way. They will go to war. They will drop bombs on people. They will do whatever it takes. They will poison people. They will get another pandemic. Anything to stay in power. Human life to them is zero. Most of the people calling the shots are billionaires. They've made it to the top. There's nothing more for them to do other than to boast their ego. They're building bunkers because they know things are coming. That's what's going to start this year. Our stock market seems like it's doing great. It's fake. The government's doing most of the buying. They do this all the time. Runs up debt, but they don't care. $34 trillion? It's no big deal. $34 trillion that are worth zero when they get done with it, then they won't owe anybody anything. And everybody else who's got their money from us will go down like a lead balloon. All right, that's enough. Don't be turned off and get upset and sad about what's happening. If you want to be upset about anything, be like Jesus when he rode into Jerusalem. If you only knew what was coming, if I could bring you into myself like a mother hen putting her wings out, bring their chicks in. But they don't want anything to do with God. He can't help them. Get the word out. Till we meet in the clouds. God bless.